Hey guys! Hey guys, a bad opener. Let me do that again. Sup? Alright, anyway, I'm Lysander. I'm the game developer of Halfwish, and I have been a huge card gamer for most of my life, and this is the first time I'm speaking to people online as a dev. This is super exciting for us. This project my friends and I have been building for the past year or so. It's a PVP Roguelite that will test your ability to bluff, adapt to randomly generated locations on the go, and craft your win conditions as you play the game. I'm already talking too much about it. Today's going to be about the tutorial, teaching you how to play the game because there are some new mechanics. While a lot of it will be familiar, the base mechanics are a little bit different, and I want to show you guys and let you have your own judgment of how you think this game will go. This is a game that will test your creativity, adaptiveness, and bluffing skills. This is the adventure map. It's filled randomly with 3 types of locations: adventures, hazards, and treasures. So every game, your locations, your adventure maps can be different. And there are adventures, which are kind of fun things that you have to make snap decisions on. Hazards, dangerous stuff that might deal damage or debuff you. Or treasures, which are fun rewards you can win, but you've got to beat your opponent for it. Locations represent 1 turn in the game. You got 5 turns per round, and you got 3 rounds in a whole game. So you got 15 turns, give or take. The goal of the game is to score more points than your opponent. Super simple, you score more points, at the end of the game, you win. Or you can take them out by reducing their HP to 0. Let's draw action cards here. In Halfwish, you do not have to build your deck before the game starts. You load in with a class, and each class will come with a pre-made deck already. Like I said, deck building happens while the game happens. Every new round, you draw 4 cards, and over here you can see how many cards you will be drawing per turn. Again, you have 10 cards in your starting deck, so you'll be drawing everything out by the end of the round, and it will reshuffle, so it's a perfect system. Every turn, you roll a pair of dice for DV or dice value. Why is this important? Your DV affects the power of cards you play this turn. But wait, that sounds like RNG. It kinda is, but the good news is your DV is hidden from your opponent and your opponent's DV is hidden from you. So both of you will not know each other's DV until you decide to commit to a fight. There's gonna be a lot of room for bluffing, mind games, and a whole lot of other tricks. Your DV this turn is 9. On your turn, you have 3 options: duel, scout, or parlay. Choosing duel starts the fight. Scout offers to reveal the face down location, and parlay offers a truce to move on to the next turn. Let's try scout first. When you offer a scout, your opponent has to agree to it. If they accept, we'll reveal the card, otherwise they have to attack you. We'll cover more on that later, but for now, let's take a look at our face down hazard card. It's a flood, alright. Flood deals damage to players that are DV 7 or lower. Now, we got 9, we know that for a fact, but our opponent took damage. We were safe, but they took damage. So we can do a little bit of inference here, do a little bit of that math. We realize that, hey, their DV is 7 or less. Even though we don't know what their DV is, we know it's 7 or less. So we can capitalize on that information. After you scout, you still have the option to duel or parlay. But since we know their DV is less than ours, let's go for an attack. Now, duels are the main way for you to score points and deal damage. Remember our 2 win conditions? More points at the end of the game or knock your opponent out. You're starting this fight, so you are going to be the attacker and your opponent is the defender. Why is this important? Because duel points are awarded differently depending on your role. Attackers are awarded 1 point every time the defender takes damage during the duel, and defenders are scoring points for either taking no damage or if the attacker takes damage at least once during the duel. So they can score up to 2 points. And duels are split into preparation and showdown phases. To make it simple, preparation is when you choose which actions you'll be using for the fight. So you choose which card you want to commit to the fight. You still don't know anything. You've got some information, but not all. And once you've selected your options, you will be able to see the potential of the outcome here. So strike is a pretty basic card. It just strikes for your DV. Our DV is 9, so it will strike for 9. And here is what I like to call the math bar. It does all the math for you. Once you're happy, you commit to lock it in and move it to the showdown. The showdown is when everything is revealed. As you can see here, we see that our opponent's playing strike for DV. And their DV is 7. It's finally revealed to us in the showdown. The new outcome shows on the board here. Our DV is 9, they're 7. Our card will strike for 9, while theirs only strikes for 7. 9 minus 7 is 2. And that will be the total amount of damage they will take during this duel. As you see, the showdown doesn't resolve right away. It gives you the math bar first, lets you see the outcome, and then you can commit to lock in. Now, as the attacker, we hurt the defender once this turn, so we'll be scoring 1 point. The defender will not be scoring any points because they failed to not take damage, and they also failed to damage us. So we've seen the final outcome. Okay, you got 1 point. You're happy with this, lock it in. We're crushing this tutorial. Great work. Okay, turn 2. We got a new pair of dice. Snake eyes here. 2. Not very good. We draw some new cards, and our opponent will start their turn immediately going for a duel. So, we've got to defend ourselves with a measly 2 DV. Now I'm going to show you, for those of you guys who are wondering like, oh, what happens if our DV is bad? How do we mitigate this? Well, we're about to show you. Play the block card. The +2 bonus might help you reduce. So block gives you DV +2 as a bonus. So it takes your DV, adds 2 to it, and gives that to you as block. Let's see what happens here. Alright, so the location cards land. It has no effect. It will not be bothering us this turn. Our opponent's got a whopping 11. Alright, this is a good case of, whoa, my opponent is smashing us here. What do we do? It's RNG, boohoo. Well, luckily, showdowns don't resolve immediately in this game. So let's try to alter the outcome with our powers. This is where we introduce the Halfwish ability card. This is Halfwish, a basic power card that lets you reroll your current DV or set it to 7. And powers can be played during the preparation or the showdown. In this case, it's the showdown because we see a pretty bad outcome here. We want to fix it. So when we see this timer, you have time to use your power before initiative passes back to your opponent. Okay, so let's play our Halfwish here. We can set to 7, which is the safe choice, kind of in the middle. Your lowest is 2, highest is 12. Or we could go for a reroll. I'm feeling a little gambly today, so let's go for a reroll. Zip. 9! Okay, 9's pretty good. 9 plus 2 is 11. And our opponent's striking for 11, so we're blocking for 11, means we don't take damage. And as you can see here, the green crystal lit up because we managed to score 1 point, and our opponents will stay at a measly 0. Alright, for taking no damage as a defender, we score 1 point. Remember how defenders score points? And we don't do damage to them, so we don't get our second point, but still pretty solid. We get a second point on the board here. The Halfwish ability will go kind of like on cooldown and will only recharge at the start of round 2. So we're currently in round 1, it will recharge at the end of round 1. Alright, round 2 resolved. Pretty good result for us. We got a new card. This is the Evade card, a powerful defensive tool with the right DV. It allows you to evade an attack, DVs 8 and above to use. So you need DV 8 or above to completely dodge an attack. Right now, we don't have that. We got another bad roll, 6. So let's see how this one turns out. Again, it's back to our turn, so we have the option to duel, scout, or parlay. DV6 is pretty bad, so let's parlay this. We don't want to scout and reveal something valuable for our opponent to want to fight over. So let's just parlay. Hope he accepts the truths with this lack of information and move on so that we get to re-roll our dice. Okay, again, parlays have to be accepted. If they're not accepted, your opponent calls you on their bluff, they will attack you. I guess that's the payoff. So you can use it to bait, but you can also use it to, get out of bad rolls. So he accepted. Very nice. Alaric is going to be very chill about this. Parlay locations have their ability skip, and if 2 parlays happen in a row, whoever has lower points can score a point as a penalty. So Alaric could be trying to go for a consecutive parlay here to try and score back some points because we're up 2 points on this guy. Turn's over, and now. So the cool thing is, after a parlay, you get to choose to keep or reroll your current DV. If it was bad, reroll free of charge. But it was good, you want to bring it over to this round. Maybe if this round was a treasure, for example, you want to bring over a good roll, you can keep it. Your opponent will be notified, so that's a little bit more mind games. If you kept the roll, your opponent's like, wait, he kept his roll, must be pretty good. So, you got a little bit of those mind games. But for now, let's reroll 6, because 6 is pretty terrible. 9's not bad, alright? Turn 4 onwards, we draw 2 cards per turn. Okay? If you have more than 4 cards in hand, you gotta discard extras, so for now, we're gonna just discard these. It's our opponent's turn again, and he wants to parlay. Okay, so he's trying to get that penalty point. Remember, if 2 parlays happen in a row, you get 1 point as a penalty if you have less points. And Alaric's trying to farm those free points. Location's also an unscouted hazard, so he could be baiting us into a fight. If we decline, we have to attack him. It could be a bait, but we're up 2 points. Let's see if we can push our advantage. So we're going to decline this parlay and engage in a fight. So because we started a fight, again, we are the attacker. You can see by the swords and the shield. Duels are fought with 2 actions, turn 3 onwards. Okay, so that's something I also forgot to bring up earlier. But now the ante goes up. You can attack with more actions, you can get more combinations, and as the attacker, you can get more strikes in, so there's more potential to earn points. And now we got a new card, the Heavy Strike. It's a powerful attack that cannot be blocked, so if you use a block card against it, it gets absolutely punished. But it also gives you the Exposed debuff, which will make you take more damage during this turn. Let's play a Heavy Strike, and let's go for a double whammy. Let's see if we can get the hurt in. So lock it in, and because this wasn't scouted, it gets revealed during the duel, and it's an inhibitor turret which will reduce our DV by 2 if we are the winner. So we are currently winning the game, so we got our DV reduced by 2, and that's the risk you get, right, when you attack blind without scouting. And, you know, our opponent should be pretty happy about this. But from what I'm seeing here, they actually played a block against our heavy strike, so we're going to be cracking right through. They got a DV8, which allows them to block for 10, but that's useless against a heavy strike because heavy strike goes through it completely. Heavy strike also has a +2 bonus, so 7 + 2 gives us 9 unblockable damage. They'll be taking 9 hit points worth of damage. But unfortunately, they are playing evade on the second one, and they're at 8, so they will be invading our strike for 7 completely, so they'll take no damage. But still, 1-0, not so bad, 9 hit points, total damage, pretty happy about that. So bam! So even if he blocked, doesn't matter, but he gets to juke out of the way here. We're absolutely stomping him, but then that's tutorials in a nutshell. Alright, finally, our last basic action, Long Strike. Long Strike lets you strike first against other non-first strike attacks. This is pretty interesting. It has a DV -2 stat line. So that is a weaker stat line, but because it allows you to hit first, there needs to be some penalty on this, otherwise it'd be too powerful. We'll see how it works in just a bit. Now, we can dual, scout, or pilot here. So, like we learned earlier, attacking blind may not be the best choice. We only got 7, so let's try and go for a scout first. You know, I do want to see what this treasure is about. Parlay might be a little bit too chicken. So let's go scout. Okay, Mr. Alaric says no sir, and now it's his turn to attack. He rejects our scout, so it becomes a combat. And because he started the fight, he's the attacker now, and we're the defender. Now let's give Long Strike a shot. This game's trying to be funny. It has lower striking power, but allows you to sneak in damage against another attack. We'll see how it works now in just a bit. So you see we slot it in, it's 7 -2. So we're only long striking for 5. We're first striking for 5, my bad. And okay, let's go for a block on this slot. So we'll be blocking for 9, pretty solid. We're first striking for 5. We'll find out how first strike works in just a bit. But because he wasn't scouted, let's take a look at the treasure card. It's a lamp. Lamps are going to be pretty important. We'll talk about them in just a tad. Alright, treasures are locations where you gain helpful rewards if you beat your opponents in a duel. You win a duel by scoring more points during the duel. So, let's take a look at our math bar here. We're dealing solid damage. So 7 -2 is 5. So but we're first striking for 5. And look at this. He immediately loses 5 hit points. And then he gets a chance to retaliate against our strike, which is 9 - 5 is 4. So even though we rolled pretty low, we hit him harder than he hit us. He rolled higher, but we hit him harder. So that's the advantage of Long Strike. Unfortunately, Long Strike doesn't work against defensive actions like block or evade, so it will not do as well. But over here, we got a block for 9, they're striking for 9, so we'll be taking no damage. But this duel is still headed towards a tie. Let's try and push it over the edge here with some magic. Introducing powers. Unlike your Halfwish, these are 1 use and cost mana to play. So these are non-basic powers. Halfwish, the basic power, is free to use, but these ones cost mana. You can use them during the preparation or the showdown, same with Halfwish. And you start the game with 1 mana and get another one in round 2, and that's all you get for the rest of the game, but you might get some others from the adventure map. Psyblast reduces your opponent's DV by 4 if they attack you. Great for surprise counterplay. So in Halfwish, we really wanted to introduce this "you activated my trap" card kind of vibe or energy or that experience. So the Psyblast kind of leans towards that effect, and we got a lot of other power cards to show you later on, but it's kind of similar in that regard, right? So if you're defending, you get to blow your opponent back, reduce their DV by a huge chunk. So let's play Psyblast here. Boom! And yep, poor Alaric down to 5. And now the math bar has changed. We're still smacking him for a solid 5, but now his 5 doesn't overpower our 5, so he does no damage to us. And because we take no damage, we score 1 point. Perfect defense. And we also managed to hurt him as the defender, so we get 2 points in total. The attacker did no damage this turn, so they get no points. And this duel is looking pretty good for us. We'll be winning this and the treasure. There you go. Pretty good news here. 1 lamp on the board. You scored 2 points. You scored more points this duel, so you win it and the treasure. Winning 2 lamps gives you a wish. A single lamp serves as a tiebreaker. And that is the end of round 1. We got our opponent on the ropes. It's a one-sided fight so far, because of course it's the tutorial. But that gives you the basic mechanics. Now, what's interesting is the game doesn't end at the end of the round. We got 3 rounds in total. So between rounds, you get to upgrade 1 card in your action deck. And that's really cool because it really changes up how you play the game. It might even adapt to your current situation. And new upgrades are offered to you every game. So again, fresh experience every time you play. Upgrades replace a basic action in your deck for the rest of the game. Some even replace your Halfwish ability. So there are a lot of different combinations you can have, and whoever is currently losing chooses to upgrade first or second. Going first gives you first dibs, going second picks from the remaining in secret. Our opponent's letting us pick first, very nice. So let's take a look at these upgrades to give you an idea of, what are the builds you can be looking at. So we got Challenging Strike. Strike for DV +1. That's a nice stat line. Opposing action is transformed into a strike. So what you do is when you play it during a fight, it will transform your opponent's action into a basic strike. Think of it as kind of a disabling effect on your opponent's special cards, or if they're trying to block or evade, they lose those special traits and just have to go with a vanilla strike. Really one of my favorites. You got Fire Shield, allows you to block for DV +2, so similar to your average block, but if you're defending, your opponent takes 3 damage. So this is kind of like a counter play kind of card. You get to block, but at the same time, you get to deal damage back, which really works into the whole defender point scoring objectives. You get to block for full, and you also get to deal damage, allowing you to score 2 points in total. So Fire Shield is very adaptive for that. It's a very annoying bit of defensive card, and very fun to play. Missile Strike. First strike, strike for 7, unevadable. So a lot of things to unpack here. First strike is the same as long strike. It hits first before your opponent hits back, and it's unevadable, so you cannot evade against it, but it only strikes for 7. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. Strike for 7 means it will always strike for 7. It is not affected by your DV, which is very special, right? Because most of the cards out there are affected by DV. Missile Strike is not affected. It's always 7. And it could be good if your DV is low, but if it's higher, it will still be 7. So it's kind of a trade-off. It gives you consistency, but I would say medium results. Lucky Strike. This one upgrades your evade card and makes it a little bit better. Normally, the evade card lets you evade if your DV is 8 or more. This one's a little bit better, 7 or more. And remember, we can use Halfwish to set our dice to 7. So this is a guaranteed evade with Halfwish. And the best part is, it has a secondary effect that refreshes your Halfwish. So cute little combo here. You Halfwish to 7 to evade, and then it refreshes your Halfwish. Beautiful, perfect circle. And last but not least, we got a passive upgrade here, Alacrity. Whenever you roll a DV less than 7, +2 DV. So if your DV is pretty crappy, it can give you a bonus, and you even gain 1 extra DV whenever you attack. So overall, if you want to really do the math, Alacrity, it takes away your ability to reroll your dice with Halfwish, but it gives you this constant boost. It pushes up your average DV, so you are more likely to get better stats throughout the game, the rest of the game, and you get a bonus when you attack. So very nice. Let's go for Missile Strike. Missile Strike, pretty good stuff. So here, you can see the card that it replaces. It replaces Long Strike, and it will take one of your basic Long Strikes and change it into this. So you still have 10 cards, you don't add an additional card, you swap it out. Alright, and because we picked first, our opponent knows what we got, so we won't be able to surprise them with this, and they actually get to choose one that we will know about. So our opponent will select the upgrade in secret, so they'll pick one of these 4, we won't know. Okay, so once the upgrades are picked, we go into round 2. Both players heal 3 health and refresh their Halfwish. We started first last round, so now Alaric is going to start this round. We got a measly 3 DV. Let's see how Alaric is feeling. Selecting. He's gonna duel. What? There's a surprise. Our DV is low, and yeah, it's not looking good. Now, while it might be tempting to use Halfwish right now, it's better to wait till the showdown to have more information, most of the time. So let's hold on a little bit here. Play our block card again. Try and get maximum protection. 3 + 2, 5. And let's see if we can get out of this mess. And because not scouted, it will reveal again Acid Rain -5 to all blocks this turn. Okay. And our opponent's playing Heavy Strike, so we're going to be taking a chunk to the dome. 10 DV +2 from Heavy Strike, 12. And again, you can't block a Heavy Strike, so it didn't matter that we played block. And doesn't matter about DV because we'll be taking 12, and that's almost half our life points. Worst case scenario here. What do we do? Well, good news. We have another basic power for situations like this. Feint. Feint transforms one of your actions into Feint, which evades at DV5 or less. So it's kind of like evade, but it's only for low rolls. So this is your low roll protection card. It's also a basic power. You start the game with it. It's free to use, but your DV has to be 5 or less. So it has to be really bad for you to get the bailout that you want. Very conveniently, this gets us out of this situation. So we love them scripted fights. So let's play our Feint here. Use the power, and we'll change this card into Feint. And that will allow us to evade because our DV is 5 or less, it's 3. And now this entire Heavy Strike for 12 will be completely thrown out the window. And because we're not taking damage this turn, we get the perfect defense. We'll score a point. There you go. Alaric's gonna be pretty mad about that. Ooh, a whopping 6 points. And it's now back to our turn because it's their turn previously and now our turn. We got another bad roll. So this tutorial is not pulling punches here for us, but you work with what you got. Let's see. Let's go for a scout. Let's go for a scout. Let's see what it is first. No harm looking. Miracle Fruit. When revealed, the losing player heals 20 health. Well, the losing player is Alaric, so he's going to be healing to full health. Very lucky for him. We have 6 DV. No point going to a fight here. Let's go for a parlay. He's going to reject it. Because Alaric wants all that smoke. He's gotta try and catch up. Let's play our strike. Let's not waste our upgrade here. Let's play a strike and see how it goes. So he's gonna be long striking for 8. Okay. And that's gonna be very nice for him. We're gonna be taking 6. So his first strike hits us for 6 first, and then we try and retaliate. 6 minus 6 is 0. So we don't get actually retaliation damage in. So as a result, he'll score 1 point for dealing damage to us, and we'll score nothing, unfortunately. So Alaric gets his day in the sun. He'll score his first ever point. Miracle Fruit indeed. Ooh, here comes the 12, baby. All right. Opponent wants to scout. Do we accept? Do we decline? Now, I know what you say. We can decline, get right to the pounding, get him at 12, but we're going to be patient. You don't want to spook your opponent. You always want to gather more information before you do anything funky. So always better to scout first. Not always, but in this case, I want to teach some good habits to new players. Lamp. Winner of the duel scores the lamp. We already got 1. We get a second one. This could wrap things up, basically. All right, opponent wants to parlay. Of course he does. He wants to run away. We got 12. We're not letting him go. Let's decline it. Let's go for that fight. Here are a couple more powers for your players. Oh, so we got new powers to mess around with. Again, you can use them during the preparation, but it's better to use them after you got more information. So we got Earthquake. Your opponent has -1 DV this turn. If you play during the showdown, swap the position of their actions. Ooh, so you can swap actions for that your opponents play to put them, the better ones, in your favor. And they've got Ice Beam. Your opponent loses 2 DV and keeps this new DV for the next turn. Again, a nice little ability that debuffs your opponent, and it also freezes this number for the next turn. So they get stuck with another crappy number for the next turn. It's gonna ruins 2 turns for them, basically. Okay, what do we do here? Let's play our upgrade. I'm feeling good about the Missile Strike, so no, let's put it here. So the order matters. I'm just gonna put Missile Strike on slot 2, and then we're gonna strike for 12 on the top. Okay, nothing fancy, but I think it should really. Okay, so they got 8. They got 8. 12. It's gonna be evaded, and Missile Strike for 7. It's gonna be no damage. So actually here, Alaric's gonna score the point. He's gonna win the second lamp, but we got powers. Let's cheat a bit. All right, let's try and secure the win of powers. We got Earthquake. Remember what I told you? Earthquake allows you to flip their actions position. So evades on the top here. It's going to be evading our strike. But hey, Missile Strike cannot be evaded. So let's use the Earthquake, and there you go. Boom. All right. So 2 things. Earthquake's done 2 things now. First, it switched his evade into our Missile Strike. So now it cannot be evaded. He's going to be taking 7 damage to the dome. As a result of using Earthquake, we've managed to secure some health damage, and we managed to score 2 points compared to the previous outcome where we only scored nothing. I like this outcome. Let's lock it in. And Missile Strike. There we go. 8 whopping points. And because we won the second lamp, we also get to win the wish reward. And choose 3 options. Deal 8 damage to our opponent, gain 4 points, or set our health to 25. Our health is pretty healthy, so there's no need for it. I'm feeling pretty good. I want to grab 4 points just to rub it in his face. We don't want to take him out just yet. So let's go for the 4.12. You kind of drag it out, I can respect that. And poor Alaric stuck on 1 point. So that's the end of the tutorial. We don't want to beat up our bot anymore because I'm pretty sure we're already on the AI Uprising hit list after this game. But yeah, if you like what you saw here, hopefully you do, because as a huge card gamer myself, I really enjoyed this game with my friends when we did it on paperback. And now that it's digitized, we want to share it with even more people. We hope you guys join us on our Discord. We play every week on our weekly playtests. People suggest stuff, they suggest new cards, and the earliest founders will even get represented in the game somehow when we release more heroes or release new items. So if you want to be part of that, join our Discord right now. You can see it right here, and join our playtests every Friday Singapore time around the evenings. Stay tuned for those. And if you want to see more gameplay, stay tuned on this channel, because I will be going through some of our closed beta playtests and commentating on those games, and dive deeper into power combinations, class selection, and all that good stuff. We'd love for you guys to join the squad, and until the next video, peace.